Facebook shut down. I just got it back up. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. It just literally shut down in midstream. So I just locked it back up. So let me see if people come back on Facebook. um so no, Beverly Simmons, when I first started, I didn't have 5 figures to invest. I had the $49 to invest. So that's why I invested. But what happened was that over time, as my revenue began to grow, I didn't spend the revenue. I didn't spend the revenue. I invested it back into my business and made more. And that's still what I do. I still do that. So yes, I'm in a position now where I pay myself. I do pay myself a salary from my business, but the majority of what I make, it still goes back into the business to grow the business. I have a team now. I have to pay my team. I have copywriters. I have coaches on my team who support me in coaching my students in my program. I have an operations manager. I have a lead tech person. I have a brand strategist who handles my marketing. I run ads. All of that, those are business expenses. So I put that back into the business. I have business reserves. You know, I have to continue to grow the business, right? So yeah, so I'm to the position now where I do pay myself a salary. But at the time when I couldn't afford 5 figures, I started off with the $49. But I'm going to tell you this. It was more so that I didn't have the mindset to pay it as opposed to I didn't have it. Because I did have it. I had it in my savings. I had a corporate job. I could have pulled it out of my retirement. I could have gotten it from my husband, gotten my husband to pull it out of his retirement. You understand what I'm saying? Like, had I had that mindset, because you got to look at it as an investment, not as an expense. Anytime I've ever invested in myself in coaching, I have always made it back 10 times. It was a one-time investment to get information or to learn a skill that was literally going to pay off. And it always, always, always paid off. Literally. You understand what I'm saying? I think that one of the biggest mistakes that people make is that when it comes to investing in themselves in terms of their business development and growth, is that they look at it as an expense and not as an investment. They look at it as something that's going to cost money instead of something that's going to make them money. So that's why I have absolutely no problem with my price point of my programs, because not only do I invest that on myself, but my students come out with skills to make them money. They come out with knowledge to make them money. They come out with products to make them money. And when they do what they're supposed to do and they're diligent at it, they do make money. You understand what I'm saying? Not just one time, but repeatedly. But if you can't get past the initial investment and ask the question, and instead of saying, I can't afford this, ask yourself the question, what can I do to cover this? Or at least what can I do to get started? You know, it's a mindset shift. And that's what I understand now that I didn't understand then. Back then when I started, it was, how much does this cost? I can't afford this, as opposed to taking the mindset of the perspective of, what can I do to pay for this? Can I do some hair on the side? Can I sell some baked goods? What kind of services can I offer people? Can I offer some copywriting or editing services? Can I babysit somebody's kid? Like, what do I need to Uber? Or what can I do if I don't have the revenue on? If I don't have the monies on hand, if I don't have a savings account, if I don't have credit, or if I don't have, a retirement account that I can pull from to make this investment in myself that I know is going to pay back. Instead of saying, I don't have the money, it's, how can I get the money? That's the one tweak that a lot of people need to make. And it always, because I do the work, so it always pays off. It's not an expense. Now, if you pay for something and then you halfway show up, you don't do your assignments, you too scared to ask questions, like you're letting your pride get in the way, and you too scared to ask questions when everybody's in the program because they need help, and you let your pride get in the way from you getting the help that you need, you let your pride get in the way from you connecting with and networking with other people, then that's your loss. And you can't say the program didn't work. You didn't work. I show up for all my calls. I ask questions, all of that. Whatever I need on my level. You understand what I'm saying? Like me and my coach does high level events. I'm doing a conference at the end of the year. And I had a question to my coach because she's done these type of conferences for over almost 10 years. I said, listen, they're saying it's going to be this amount to host this conference. In your experience, what has this been? I have to pay the event planner this flat fee amount plus 15% of overall expenses. Those are the kind of conversations we're having. But I had to grow to that. To be totally honest with you. Was I ready for that? 5 years ago? No. But this is why I'm sharing with you some of the shifts that I made to elevate to where I am now. From charging $49 to being able to charge 5 figures. It's not just changing your pricing. It's mindset, it's habits, it's skill level, it's confidence, all of that. Chai Unique says, how does plan work starting in March? Is it like a payment plan? I'm not sure I understand your question. If you could, clarify that for me. It's not even got to pay to play, Jalil. It's, do you want to learn something that literally can change the scope of the rest of your life? That can change the finances for the rest of your life? That can change your opportunities for the rest of your life? You can go get it. You can go get some free information on YouTube and try to piece it together, or you get an entire system, framework, curriculum, support, steps that you need if you make an investment. And for me, that's what it is for me. All right. So number one, I had to get around different people. Number two, I had to invest in myself on the level that I wanted to charge. The third shift that I had to make to elevate my coaching practice and go from offering $49 sessions to 5 figures and up was that I had to focus on helping my students get massive results. So if you followed me, I hardly ever talk about myself and about what I do. Now, sometimes during live streams, I'll share it, but just in my day-to-day content, I'm all about highlighting my students because they're the ones doing the work. But how did that start? How was I able to get to that point? I had to focus on my students. I wasn't trying to focus on what I could do. So this means like whether I had 2 people or 20 people in the program at the time, I always did my best and served my best and at my best level. I looked at the results that my students were getting. I looked at the gaps. I looked at where they had the most questions throughout their process and time in my program. I looked at the students who were getting the result. I looked at the results that they were getting versus the results that they wanted to get. I looked at the results that they were getting versus the results I wanted them to get, and I had to make adjustments. This took time. I've run the same program for about 3 to 4 years now. Okay, so that means that over time I made adjustments and upgrades to my program. So that means like if you maybe inquired about working with me in 2018 or 2019, you've encountered a different Jasmine and a different a different program altogether in 2021. The program's totally revamped. Because I've realized, you know what? It's a great thing to help people write books. But what I really want my authors to do is to make an impact and be able to make money from the books that they're making. It makes no sense to write a book that you can't do anything with or that you're not doing anything with. So let me make some additions to my program to put them in position to win at a maximum level. So they don't have to come out like I did and try to piece it all together. I'm going to give them the whole entire system that I use, that I created for myself to explode my business and change my life around. And I package that into a program. So oftentimes you have to be able to get results first, whether it's for yourself or for your clients. Okay? You got to be able to get results. You cannot, and there are people who do, and I think it's in poor integrity, but if you're operating out of the highest integrity, you need to, if you're going to charge premium or high ticket prices, you need to be sure that you can deliver on your program promise. This means that it's not just enough to have pretty branding, pretty pictures, and get up here and try to sell something. You have to be concrete and clear that you can deliver on your program promise. Point blank, period. Okay? The fourth thing that I did, the fourth shift that I made to elevate my coaching practice. I don't know if y'all gonna like this one. I studied, I rinsed and repeated. I studied, rinsed and repeated. Studied, rinsed and repeated. What this means is that I assess my business from an overall perspective. What's working, what's not? What programs and products and services am I offering? Y'all, over the past 5 years, I've had membership programs. I've had done-for-you services. I used to have, live master classes, where maybe I would charge like maybe $25 for it or whatever. I'm like, out of everything that I'm doing, what's working, what's not? Where's the bulk of my revenue coming from? What's the overall successes of the students coming through these programs? Because I'm real big on student results. I've had people consult with me, some of your biggest, social media personalities that say, hey, we want to write a book or we want to write an ebook or whatever, but we don't really care about what they do with the information. We just want it out. I care about what my students do with the information. I care about my students' results. So this means I studied, rinsed, repeated. Studied, rinsed, repeated. This means that I wasn't trying to come out with a different ebook, a different book, a different program, a different product, and a different service every single month. Some of y'all are trying to do way too much, and you're not doing anything with the little that you do have. You shouldn't be trying to have all these different programs, to do all these different classes, if you're not hitting a consistent $10,000 per month in revenue already. Point blank, period. There's no point in I'm trying to do this ebook. I'm trying to sell mugs. I'm trying to sell t-shirts. I'm trying to, speak here on this topic. Now I need to go write another book. And you all over the place. You need one book, one speech from that book, one program from that book. Scale it. Water it. Grow it. Study it. Rinse it. Repeat it. You create your coaching program. Bring in a cohort. When it's time for them to graduate, you run the same program again. You launch again. You enroll people again. You look at what's working. Look at what needs to be improved, what improved from last time. Make some adjustments. You do it again. The next quarter, you do it again. The next quarter, you do it again. And every single quarter, or however often you launch, you're looking at your metrics. How many live streams did you do? If you're doing ads, how many ads are you doing? If you're launching through speaking, how many speaking engagements are you doing? You're looking at your numbers. You're looking at the amount of people coming into your pipelines. You're looking at, based on the amount of people coming into my pipelines, these are the numbers of people who are signing up, or based on the number of sales calls I'm getting, this is the number that I'm actually closing. Okay, if I want to increase my conversions on these sales calls, I need to go over my sales call script. I need to pull the records of the people who actually signed up, and I need to look at the things that they had in common. I need to look at the things that they had in common on their applications. What were the things that they had in common on their applications? How did their application stand out from the people who didn't sign up? When I'm talking about looking at the data, I'm talking about looking at the data, digging deep. Some of you guys are looking surface level, and you're only looking at, okay, how many people can I get to sign up? And now you're trying to go on to the next thing. And you're not really taking the time to improve your skills, to improve and enhance your processes and procedures, okay? So that you can actually get to the point where you're able to speak to and attract the type of client that's willing to pay what it is you charge. Does this make sense? So it's not as simple as, oh, I got something for sale. Like, you have to look at your messaging. You have to look at your conversion rate. You have to look at your launch strategies. if you're launching via webinar, or if you are launching and inviting people to a sales call, looking at the number of sales calls you're getting, looking at where these people are coming from, looking at your conversion rate. Everything is a number system. But we have to take the time to study and become a master of our craft and of our business. These are some of the things, these are some of the shifts that I made to go from charging $49 for a 45-minute session to be able to charge 5 figures and up, eliminate sessions altogether and charge 5 figures and up for services. I had to become a master of what it is I do. I have a whole entire notebook of applications that people completed to work with me, and my notes from back when I used to do sales calls, my notes from those sales calls. And I would go through them and highlight important parts of their application, important parts of the conversation. And I would sit down and I would look at, okay, these are all the people who enrolled. Let me look at the similarities of their applications. Let me look at the language they're using. Let me look at their psychographics. Who are they? How old are they? Do they have children? Are they married? What's their level of education? Because I want more people like this. I want to work with more people like this. I don't want to work with the people with the decline payments. I don't want to work with the people who aren't going to put in the work. I want to work with the self-starter. I want to work with more people like this, so I have to make some adjustments so I can attract and enroll and convert people just like this. These are some of the shifts that I had to make. If you're just, and is it easy? No. Does it take time? Yes. But is it worth it? Absolutely. Okay. So not only did I study my clients and the client base, but I also rinsed and repeated. I ran the same programs over and over and over again for years until I perfected it and took it from something that was cheap to something that where people would be found the value in paying 5 figures, and not paying, but making the investment in themselves. Okay. Are y'all with me? Y'all are quiet. Are you guys with me? Or am I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk too fast, and I definitely don't want to talk about I don't want to speak over your head. I don't want to speak about things that you might not be able to understand. So if there's any question that you have, definitely let me know. Hey, Janae. Hey, Dominique. Hey, Vera. Hey, Tisa. Tisa, are you on Facebook and Instagram? Because you just responded on both platforms. Okay. The 5th shift that I had to make to elevate my coaching practice and go from offering $49 sessions to charging 5 figures and more premium pricing for my services is that I had to believe that I could do it, y'all. Something's going on my lips. I think I have some chapped lips or something. I gotta get some lip scrub. If you got a good lip scrub, send me the link. Oh, because my lips are looking horrible on Facebook. All right. I had to believe that I could do it. So belief was 90% of the battle in my mind. Like, honestly. Like, if you don't, whatever you believe people will pay you, that's going to be your truth. So if you only believe that people will pay you $49, then that's going to be your truth. If you believe that your product or service is worth high 4 figures or 5 figures, and you begin speaking on that and being confident in that, then that's what people are going to see. Okay? Chanel, I don't know. That's a loaded question. I'm to be honest with you. You said, I've been running the same program for years now. What do you think I should do next? I honestly can't tell you. I know nothing about your program. I know nothing about the price point, how long you've been running it, what it's about, the type of clients you serve. I don't know anything about your current success rate. That's a loaded question. And it's kind of blanket. So I don't necessarily know what you should do next. I think that you should, if you're not doing anything if you're not doing anything that I've shared in this video, if you're not looking at your metrics, if you're not looking at how you can improve and grow and scale the program that you have based on the data, that's what I think that you should do. So I hope that that answers your question. Arve says, how did you believe in yourself? That's a good question, Arve. Arve says, how did you believe in yourself? How did I go from having a lack of confidence to believing in myself? So number one, investing in myself. Because again, when you start investing in yourself, then you show up differently. When you start investing in yourself, you do the work and you get results. It builds your confidence. So like Arve, like I know right now, your confidence has been built because you're in the boot camp. Initially, you were frustrated, right? But then when you dug in and clicked, your confidence increased, right? And you're like, yeah, I got it. Matter of fact, you were the first one in the boot camp that was done with your book in 3 days. That was a confidence booster for you. So what's going to happen next? When you publish your book, that's going to be a confidence booster. When you start implementing some of the marketing strategies and you putting yourself out there, you're doing something different than you probably done before, that's going to boost your confidence. Because now you can actually, you're feeling like, you know what, I'm doing something that I haven't done before. I'm actually doing this. That boosts your confidence. When you start getting those first few sales in, that's going to boost your confidence. So it's not anything, increasing your confidence is not anything that happens all together overnight. It's a day by day, step by step, win by win, gradual process. Do you understand what I'm saying? It honestly is a day by day, step by step, win by win, like gradual process. So when I was able to get, I will never forget it, when I was able to get my first $12,000 client, I was like, oh, they gave me my confidence because I had never charged that much. You know, what was that, like maybe a year or two ago? I had never charged that much. And once I got that first sale and they sent over 50% deposit, I was like, whoa, you know, like, of course you had some mindset stuff. Like, I remember when it used to take me 2 months of teaching to make what I just made in less than a day, you know? But when I got my first 5-figure client, that was a confidence boost because I'm like, if it happened once, it'll happen 100 times over. It's a confidence booster. If you can get 1, you can get 10. If you can get 1, you get 100. So it's all about the small wins. It's about doing something every single day to get a win and to be one step ahead than you were the day before. And once you get these wins and you see the progress over time, your confidence increases. It's not an overnight thing. It's not I'm going to go to sleep, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and my confidence is through the roof. Absolutely not. It really truly is it's a process, and it's a step-by-step, day-by-day, win-by-win process, right? Takora on Facebook says, how did you know it was time to actually start coaching? That's a great question. People were coming I was being asked questions all the time. And so it gets to a point where it's like, I'm spending all this time asking questions and I'm nice to y'all, but asking y'all, taking time to answer your questions in the DMs is taking up time from my family. It's taking up time, from me doing other productive things. And so I have to charge for it. So I was being asked questions often, right? And I had people coming onto my webinar. I had people interested. I was putting things out and I had interest. And so I just did a little thing one day. I was like, listen, I'm going to offer 3 free coaching sessions, for 45 minutes. They're free as long as you, give me an honest review. So that was how I got started. And we did some coaching. I did some business coaching sessions with some beginning entrepreneurs. They liked our session. Each of them gave me a testimonial. I put those 3 testimonials on my website. That's how I got started. I gave away 3 free 45-minute sessions in exchange for an honest review, and their permission that if they liked it and they gave me a good review, I could put it on my website. And all of them enjoyed the coaching session. They gave me a positive review. I put those reviews on my website. That's how I got started. That's how I got started. With one-on-one. Prior to that, I had been doing some challenges. So I had this challenge that I did called the what was that challenge called? Because it's down there. Get Your House in Order challenge, and it was like a 21-day challenge. And I had like 400 people sign up for that. I ran it again that following March, and the second time I ran it, I charged for it. That was my first time I had made money online outside of my book. And so I had made like $300 from this challenge. And from the 30 people who signed up for the paid challenge, 13 enrolled in my membership. So that was also a start to my coaching program as well. Trying to figure it out. Trying to, figure stuff out. Figure out the online space at that point. All right? And all those things helped to build my confidence. That's when I was coaching for $25 a month. And people were emailing me saying that they couldn't afford it because they just wanted to cancel and didn't have the courage to say they wanted to cancel. So it was always an excuse. So I realized that, you know what? I like dealing with straight shooters. I don't like dealing with people who try to BS me or give me excuses. I don't like, because I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to tell you what it is. We're adults. I don't have to make up excuses or say all this stuff. It just is what it is. So I like dealing with straight shooters. So I tend to attract straight shooters. If that makes sense. No, Chanel, I don't do one-on-one. I only do group coaching. My life right now does not align with well, I'll take that back. My one-on-one coaching is not, I don't promote it. It's by referral only because generally I work with people who already make a certain amount of money. When I coach one-on-one, it's like, I'm going to say this, both of my one-on-one clients are CEOs of 7-figure businesses, right? So I have to be flexible with their schedules because they have teams, they have a staff, they already have all this stuff going on. They have legitimate businesses. Like one of my clients just signed, got a $150 million contract. You know what I'm saying? So I have to be very flexible with my time. Those clients don't have time for a group coaching program. And oftentimes I'm not just working with them, but I'm also working with their teams. So I do one-on-one on a very rare occasion because I really don't like doing one-on-one. But when I have clients who are already at a certain income level and they group coaching doesn't fit in the scope of their life or business, and they can make that investment, because my one-on-one is $30,000. So if somebody wants to do that for 6 months, then yes. Other than that, my group coaching is available. Okay? So I hope to answer your question. All right? So let's go on to number 7. So number 6. So this sixth shift that I made to elevate my coaching practice. Sorry guys, I got flustered there. Elevate my coaching practice. And this kind of piggybacks off of number 3 a bit, where I was saying was that I focus on helping my students get massive results. I took my time and continued to develop my programs. Okay? I took my time to continue to develop my programs. So I looked at the communication. I looked at the platforms that were going to be the best to deliver my to deliver my product and to deliver my programs. I had to again fill in the gaps. I had to look at the gaps that existed. I had to assess the questions that students had when they came through my programs, and had to create content that addressed those questions or address some of the gaps, so that when new students came into the program, the questions would be answered before they would even ask them. Again, this took time, it took attention to detail, and it took years. This is why now my students who come through my program, they don't have a lot of questions. Because everything is honestly laid out for them. Okay? And so what I'm saying for you is that you have to take time to perfect your program. If it's something that you know you really want to see grow, build, and scale, if that makes sense. Okay? I knew that I was cooking with fish grease. I knew that the program that I had, was going to continue to grow. Now, I will say this. You also have to also determine whether or not to keep the program that you have. So I have 2 programs now, but previously to offer my boot camp and my mastermind, I had other programs. I had a membership community. Previously I had a membership community. Okay. And I tried to grow that community. I put resources into that community. I used to bring in guest speakers, all this and that. I tried to rebrand it, rename it. I increased the price. I continued to develop the community. And then I realized, you know what? That's not what God is telling me to do. And when I looked at the data and I looked at my numbers, me and my accountant sat down. I said, I gotta shut this down because it's taking too much energy. It's taking too much time. When my clients are getting bigger results from this bucket, and it's not requiring as much of my time as the membership is. So based on the data, again, sometimes you might have a program that's not working and it's not working for you. Yes, you may have to phase out of it to go into the new. Is it going to be easy? Probably not. It's going to be hard to give up something that you're used to. It's going to be difficult to let go of something that you have familiarity with. But it all goes back to the data. How much time, how much energy, how much revenue is coming in? Can you see yourself doing that for another 5 years? If you get to a point where you don't want to do it anymore, is it something that you can sell? Like, you have to ask yourself all these questions. Or is it something that you can just shut down? Because you know that majority of your revenue and student results are coming from somewhere else. Like, you'll get better results and more money by putting your attentions into another aspect of your business instead of, continuing to pour energy down the same hole. Sometimes you have to make those tough decisions. And yes, it is tough. Okay? But it was necessary in getting me from the $49 point to the 5-figure point. Does that make sense? I had to make those difficult decisions. I had to look at what was working. I had to go back and develop my programs, and then I had to eliminate the aspects that weren't working. I had to look at the programs that absolutely were not getting me the results that I wanted. I had to do a process of elimination and really put my total focus into what was working the best. And once I did that, everything exploded because I wasn't all over the place. I wasn't trying to be in the membership. I wasn't trying to do this and do this. It's like, okay, just this program or this aspect of your business, 100% focus, and I got the results as a result of that. Okay. And the 7th shift that I made to elevate my coaching practice was that I had to decide the type of company that I wanted. And this was major for me. I had to decide whether I wanted a side hustle or a business. Okay? If you just want a side hustle, and if you just want something to put some money in your pocket, then that's one thing. That's going to take a certain level of energy. It's going to take, a certain mindset, and it's going to take a certain type of product at a certain price point. It's going to take only a certain level of commitment. But if you want something that can grow, that can scale, that you may want to put in a position to be acquired down the line. If you want something that will provide opportunities for other people in which you can be a blessing to others through your business, then you're going to have to move differently. You're going to have to act differently. Not to mention, you're going to have to charge differently too. Because if you want a full legitimate business as opposed to just a side hustle, then there's going to become a point in time in which you can't do everything yourself. This means that you're going to have to get comfortable paying other people to be the expert in their wheelhouse, so it can free you up with time to actually work on your business and doing the things to generate revenue and continue to grow and scale your business. You cannot grow a 6 or 7 figure business if you're the only person doing everything. You're going to grow yourself to burnout. That's what you're going to do. And you're probably going to grow yourself to broke, because you can't do everything effectively. You cannot. You can start out that way. Like when I started out, I was doing everything myself, but I'm not talking to you as the person who was starting out the business 5-6 years ago. I'm talking about the person that was going to make her first 7 figures this year. Okay? You cannot do it by yourself. Not if you want a legitimate business. I realized that when I had my publishing agency. And at the time, it wasn't a publishing agency. It was just a publishing me. And I was the one doing all the edits. I was doing everything. And I remember I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning one night, editing some clients' books. I had a full roster. I literally couldn't take anymore. And it was to the point I was up at 4 in the morning. I was up until 4 in the morning doing these projects. I would get 2 hours of sleep, get up at 6 o'clock, get my kids together, and then take an hour and a half commute to work and teach all day. And it was at that point I said, you know what? I cannot function like this. My business ain't going to grow if I continue doing this. And I'm going to burn out. So it was at that point, I already had relationships with 4 editors. I brought on 4 editors into my agency, and I removed myself from editing. And people would be upset. They're like, you're not editing? I'm saying, absolutely not. I can't run the company and manage all these projects if I'm the one doing the editing. I had 4 editors on my team the following week. Everybody I already had relationships with, they were waiting on me. And to this day, I still have relationships with all those editors, and they are the same editors that I refer my clients to. And they're the editors who still edit my books. They became my editing team. I brought on a team of I think I had 2 or 3 graphic designers. No. I had 4 designers. 3 of them handled graphic design. 1 specifically focused on the interior layout. I had an assistant who was managing emails, and that was my agency. I couldn't do it anymore. And when I hired more people, I was able to go from $5,000 or $6,000 per month to anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000 per month in my agency, because I could take on more work. I could take on more projects. And that's when we had our first 6-figure year. That was 18 months after I wrote my book. And that year, I think the agency made, I think, around $123,000. And then the following year, we made around, what was it? It was like $239,000. I shut the agency down and went, yeah. That's what happened. Yes. I shut the agency down and went, I'm losing track of my numbers, but every year it grew. Even after I shut the agency down and went into full author speaker coaching, my books, speaking and coaching, we did even more that following year. You can't do it by yourself. You cannot. So you have to determine what type of company you want. So am I saying that you need to go out now and do all of this? No. But you have to have the mindset that that's where you're going to grow. You have to have the mindset that that's where you're going to grow. I had to look at what my long-term goals were. I had to look at where I wanted to be. Okay? And I had to look at the workload. And I had to look at the opportunities that were being provided to others. Okay? And one of the things that helped me with hiring, because hiring was super difficult for me in the beginning, because I want to be a full-time entrepreneur. So I had this erroneous mindset that everybody else did too. And the truth of the matter is that 95% of people cannot handle full-time entrepreneurship because it is a beast. But there are people out here who are great at what they do, and they do want to support and serve behind a mission-focused company, but they don't want all the responsibilities of running a company themselves. So they'll be great support. Everybody don't want to be a full-time business owner, and everybody shouldn't. You got to determine what kind of business you want. And it's still possible to work to have a job and still be making 15, 20K in your business when you do it the right way. And you can do it without overwhelming, without stress. That's very possible to do it when you do it the right way. Chanel on Facebook says, do you think it's a good idea to have a book or workbook to go along with the program or course? That's an absolute mandatory. That's something that I teach my students. Okay, I teach my students how to write a book and then build what's called a book business ecosystem. So you write a book and then you turn that book into a premium price speaking and coaching program. And then when you have a coaching program, yes, there are assets that you need to provide your students to help them get the best results. And that's one of the things that I teach in my boot camp and in my mastermind. My boot camp is a little bit different because in my boot camp, I teach how to use your book, how to write your book, self-publish it, market, launch it, and then use the momentum from your launch to start a one-on-one coaching program. That's what I teach now as of 2021. But in my mastermind, I teach my authors, this is how you turn your one-on-one coaching program into a scalable group coaching program, and also position yourself for visibility in the media, speaking, and with building your team. I shut my agency down because I was looking at the data. So although my agency was generating revenue, I wasn't keeping a lot of it, meaning that it was going out a lot. A lot of it, most of it was going out to, and I was still profitable, don't get me wrong. But the amount of headache that I was dealing with, again, the level of I didn't want to do done for you. A lot of times when people pay you to do something, they feel like they don't have to show up. So what I dealt with a lot with my agency was people were paying the money, which wasn't a problem. But when it came time for them to deliver assets to us that we needed to actually bring the book into production, they were dragging their feet. They were going ghost. They were, not responding to emails, and then would pop up 6 months or a year later and then want us to rush. And it's like, we hadn't even heard from you. So I had to end up canceling people's contracts, unfortunately that they broke, or, because I'm just a person of integrity, I had to reach out to like 10 people and say, listen, I'm shutting the agency down. So if you still want me to publish your book, then you need to have these assets turned in, and you're already outside of the scope of your contract because your contract was up 6 months ago. And we've been emailing you, asking you for all of these items, and we still don't have them. I didn't want to do that no more. I got tired of chasing adults. So, and another reason I shut the agency down was that I realized was that most authors don't want to just write one book. Most serious authors want to write multiple books because they're building a brand and they want to be seen as an authority and thought leader in their field. So the best thing for me to do was to empower my authors with the tools, skills, and strategies to do it themselves. So this way, if they hired somebody to do it, they would know what to look for, how to do it, and what questions to ask. But they would at least leave out with a skill that they could immediately use to make money, because now they'd be able to take what they learned and go do it for somebody else. So I looked at the data. I looked at the data. I looked at the data. I looked at what it was costing me. I looked at what it was costing me in terms of time, health, resources, revenue. I looked at where most of my money was coming from at that time, where most of my profits was coming from. And again, this goes back to studying, rinsing, and repeating. That's what I did. This is how I shifted from offering low-cost products and services to premium price and high ticket. I eliminated the stuff that wasn't working and I focused on the things that were. The agency wasn't working for me anymore, and it wasn't working for what I wanted to do and for where I wanted to go. Now, I still do somewhat provide it, but again, those are for my one-on-one clients. These are my CEOs who are already at 7 figures. They want a book. They want to write a book themselves. They don't want a ghostwriter, but they also don't have the capacity for a group coaching program. So yes, they hire me to work with me for a period of 6 months, one-on-one, to help them write their book, make all the edits to their book together, and produce and publish their book for them and help them with their marketing strategy. But I work with 7-figure owners for that. I'm not, high six figures, mid to high 6 figures, and 7-figure owners. So there's an income qualification for that. And I don't do it all the time. It's honestly by referral and when it's open. Like right now, I'm not taking any one-on-one clients. I probably won't take any more one-on-one until 2022. Because I have a lot that I'm doing with my current students in my programs and in my own business, and things that I'm doing to move my brand and business forward as well. So I don't have capacity for one-on-one right now, because when I'm working with somebody one-on-one, I can't work with nobody else during that time. So if I'm taking 4 hours, if I'm meeting with my private clients twice a week, and I have 2 private clients, and I'm meeting with each of them twice a week, that means for 4 hours, I'm only focused on them. I can't do anything else. So, yeah, I'm not taking any private clients right now, though. So I hope that this was helpful for y'all. These were, and this was an honest conversation. And I like the questions that you guys asked, because it's real. Did I get here overnight? Absolutely not. It definitely was a progress, and continues to be a process. But these are some of the shifts that I had to make. And when you're making those shifts, especially those of you all who already have businesses, you may find that some things that you're doing now are not conducive or in alignment with what you want to be or where you want to go in the future. And therefore, you have to make decisions now based on, your future goals. Like, I know, guys, I just turned 36. When I'm 45, 50 years old, I'm not about to be on Instagram live streaming. Absolutely not. Y'all might see some pictures, but I'm not about to be on here live streaming. No, what I look like? By that time, I have my money really making money for it. Not even by that time. Literally, like in the next 3 years. My money, God willing, my money really making money for me. I'm not trying to be on going on live stream. Honestly, I don't know how long I'm going to be teaching the boot camp live. Because God already gave me instructions. So I know based on the past, when he speaks, I have to listen. Transition is not going to be that much further along. So, like, I know the future of my boot camp, I'm not going to be teaching my boot camp live for that much longer. I'm going to be certifying people in my method of writing, so other people can become Author Made Easy certified and help other authors write their books in 3 days. And my coaches are going to be facilitating the program. I'm not going to be teaching live. I'll still be supporting through reviews and Q&A, or my primarily my coaches. But I know God has already given me instructions. So I'm like, it's probably like maybe another year or two that I'm going to be teaching it live. But he's already given me the vision. So I hope this makes sense. Yeah, the boot camp is going to grow and scale. It's going to be amazing. But when it gets to that point, as CEO, you got to realize that you can't do everything. That's why you train well, and you hire people. You hire qualified people. So they'll actually get it done. They'll come back and report to you. That's what it's all about. All right. Do y'all have any questions before I go? Because my kids are upstairs being quiet. So I'm about to go hang out with them and put them to bed, and then I'm going to spend some time on me. I'm going to work out and clean my kitchen up. So do y'all have any questions? Because I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this replay up yet. So do you guys have any questions? Arve, you said this helped you so much. Girl, you got it going on. You just got to believe in yourself. Once you see it, that's all it's going to take. Yeah, have any questions? I know, like, sometimes it takes some time to type the answers, to type the questions in and stuff. So I'll wait. If you're on Instagram, you can just put a question down below in the question mark chat. It's about a good number of people on Instagram. So if you guys have any questions, I'm an open book right now, guys. So yeah. So while we're waiting, yeah, Published and Paid is gonna open back up in March. We're gonna do. I don't have my calendar on me. Yes, I do. It's right here. We are going to do Published and Paid one final time. Something's going on my computer. One final time on March 26th. So enrollment's going to open back up on March 1st. Just because we've been getting some emails saying how great it was and people want to come through it again. So we're going to do it one more time on March. I think I said that on March 26th. I'm sorry, March 19th. We're going to do it March 19th. So just be on the lookout for that. Chanel, what kind of advice are you looking for? When you say any advice for publishers, what specific advice are you looking for? Dr. Crystal, you says, do you find that there are different strategies in the soft skills leadership space? Can you clarify that a bit for me? When you say different strategies in the soft skills leadership space, what exactly do you mean? I know what soft skills leadership is, but when you say that there are different strategies, what exactly do you mean? I just want to make sure that I understand what you're asking. And same for you, Chanel. I just want to make sure that I understand what you're asking so that I can give you the best possible answer. So if you could just be a little bit more specific for me, I'd appreciate it, guys. Ladies. Beverly says, what is the March camp? Definitely check out Published and Paid because it's going to give you some information into my teaching style, my teaching strategies, what I teach, why I teach it. Published and Paid is a 5-hour virtual event. I'm teaching like hours, and I invite you to join us, Beverly. Enrollment and registration is going to open up on March 1st, okay? And I don't open up boot camp every single month. I used to keep an eye out on the Published and Paid virtual event. I was only going to do it in January, but we got such a great response and people asking if we'd be willing to do it again. So we're going to go ahead and run it, do it one final time in March. But we won't be doing it after that because we'll be getting ready for the Six-Figure Storyteller Live Conference. And actually, enrollment might be up. I got to check with my tech team, but the enrollment might be up. You could visit if you're interested. Oh, Chanel says, I'm new to the book publishing business. I love it and have published over 15 books our first year. Okay, awesome. Congratulations to you. Published and Paid live. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, Chanel. Like when you say take it to the next level, there are a lot that's loaded. So 15 books is great. but I don't know your price point. If you only publish a certain type of books, like I would need that type of information. Like I don't know if you publish children's books, urban romance, nonfiction, if you publish anything that people bring to you. I don't necessarily know how much you're charging. And when you say next level, you gotta let me know, what does the next level look like for you. So when you're saying next level, what exactly do you mean by that? Because my next level and your next level might be different. So I don't know if you're trying to make more money. I don't know if you're trying to scale it, build a team. So that's what I need a little bit more detail on. Dr. Crystal, can you send me a request to join the video? Because you said, do you find that there are different strategies in the soft skills leadership? Like, I'm not sure if you're talking about coaching. Okay, here we go. Hey, Dr. Crystal. So good to see you.
But just in terms of what people are willing to pay, I find that there is a difference in terms of, like, if you're building somebody's business and you're doing something that is giving people a tangible outcome.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's a difference in terms of people's receptivity to something that might be a mindset or a development area. So that's why I asked if there are different kinds of strategies, because I find that people are drawn or more easily pay for something that they know is going to flip or circulate back to them very quickly in a different capacity.
Got you.
From a money perspective.
So people generally want to learn. Yeah, people generally want to learn about finances or money, love, and health. Like, those are the big three buckets. So one of the things is that you have to take leadership and connect it back to how can developing your leadership skills, like, maybe help you increase your bottom line. How can this, how can your development in this area help you have a more fulfilling personal life? Like, how can you develop as a leader so that you're not taking your work home and your stress home, and taking it out on your family? Like, how can you improve your personal life through developing yourself as a leader? What does it mean to develop your leadership at work and your leadership at home? So it's just basically being able to take what you're talking about, take your topic, and align it to one or all three of those buckets, so that people can actually see how this is going to benefit me. And, like, once I implement this is the result that it could have on my life, my finances, and my health. And it's also being strategic in who you're targeting. So, like, if you want someone to pay you, for executive coaching, $2,500, $3,000 per month, then you know that you're going to be probably talking to senior leaders, and 9 times out of 10, it's not necessarily going to be about business strategies. They're going to need strategies for themselves, because they tend to burn themselves out, be overworked. They have issues going on with their mental health, emotional health, because they're putting so much into their careers, and other aspects of their lives are generally going, untended to, correct? So you have to be able to start shifting your messaging to them, that person. So it might not be the young whippersnappers on social media. Your audience might be more so on LinkedIn.
Got it.
Yeah. You understand? And they very well may be on Instagram or on Facebook, right? But you still have to use a certain type of language when speaking to them. So it's really going to boil down to your messaging and your marketing and your storytelling, telling your story and how you've been able to develop as a leader, as a wife, and as a mother, and keep everything in balance while still being able to accomplish your professional goals.
So true.
So oftentimes it's going to go back to you sharing more of your story and calling out those pain points, those things that the people who need what you have and who have the mindset and the ability to pay for it, you just have to speak to them differently so that they can see it.
Got it. That's so helpful so much. Absolutely.
So yeah, so tonight make a list of all the ways in which your service can help this woman in leadership.
Got it. We'll do that.
The non, like, I'm not gonna say the non-monetary ways, but what are the ways in terms of their finances? What are the ways in terms of their health? And what are the ways in terms of their love life or relationships? Can leadership, coaching, and development, how can it influence and enhance those three buckets of their lives? Just take a big memo pad and make you a whole entire list. Yeah, a big memo pad and make you a list, and start creating your messaging around that.
Perfect. The finance, and then the health.
Mm-hmm.
And
relationships. So it might not necessarily just be relationships with the spouse, but it could be relationships with family, children, network, anything.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great being online with you.
Likewise, I need to talk to you soon. So I'll be I'll be shooting you an email soon because I've been meaning to reach out to you about some stuff.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You so much.
Talk to you soon.
Thursday nights I teach, so I haven't been on, but this is really helpful.
Yeah, I saw that you launched your program again. So congrats about that.
Thank you so much. For those who are on the line, Jasmine's program is, I'm telling you, it's worth its weight in gold.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Crystal.
Absolutely true. So I endorse, if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, I would just say, please just go ahead and make the investment. You'll get much more than what you paid for. So thank you. Just wanted to put that plug in.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Crystal. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So how do I come off?
I think you have to push the X button.
Okay.
Okay, so Chanel on Instagram, on Facebook says you work with self-help and Christian-based books. I would just based on the information that you've given me, I would encourage you to really define what the next level looks like for you. Okay, so is that a level of income, a level, if you've already published 15 books, what does that look like in terms of revenue? What revenue, how do you want your revenue to change based on, where you are now, how you want it to increase or improve? How do you want your business to grow and scale? And then you have to become very clear on what that next level looks like for you. And once you're able to define that, then you can assess the steps that you need to take to actually get to that next level. Okay. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure chatting with everybody tonight. If you have any questions at all, make sure that you shoot me a DM. And Published and Paid Live will be open for both aspiring and published authors on March 1st. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys. All right. Y'all have an amazing evening. Good night.